Cool. That harmonica, man. Welcome back, you film club beauties. Everybody staying all right inside? Me too. You guys, Once Upon a Time in the West. Whoa. Have you seen it before? Because I hadn't. I watched it for the first time this week. And I love me some Sergio Leone. I've seen Good, the Bad, and the Ugly probably 10 times. Which is funny because it in and of itself is the third part of a trilogy, I guess, technically, with Fistful of Dollars and A Few Dollars More. But I never saw those two movies. I've only ever really seen The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. But I love that movie, as does pretty much everybody that's ever watched it. But yeah, this one had always been on the list and always been something I had meant to watch. But finally got around to it, and man, it certainly holds up. It's I found myself a couple times being like, it's a little long, but who am I to judge? You know, I got nothing but time right now. So I settled in and I let it take its time. There's no dialogue for the most part for 10 minutes of the film until you hear that harmonica music and our man Charles Bronson shows up, who is merely referred to as Harmonica. He doesn't even really have a name. He's just this mysterious guy who rolls in on a train, and there's a incredible that I mean I'm totally speaking out of turn in a way because people have put this so much more eloquently, I'm sure, in other videos and reviews and stuff, but this opening sequence of 10 minutes of three guys that you know are up to no good, just sitting around waiting for something, we're not sure what. The main intrigue for a good couple of minutes is whether or not the fly is going to get off the guy's face or not. He's sitting there with a fly on his face, and it's like watching a pot boil, because a watch pot never boils, and so as you're watching it, it seems like nothing is happening, but there is something bubbling underneath. There is a tension that's building that finally arrives by train. And then once we get that shot of those three outlaw bad guys with our man Charles Bronson on the other side of the tracks, and just that brief exchange that they have with that harmonica theme happening, that leads to the shootout that starts the film for us. Man, I don't even really know where to begin. Let's go with the music. How about the music? I hope I'm saying this man's name correctly, because he deserves to have his name said correctly everywhere. I hope I'm saying it right. Ennio Morricone. Holy shit. I'm pretty sure that it's him and John Williams are like neck and neck. This guy has a way of putting music in a film that if you were to take it out, what movie are you watching? If you watch E.T. without the music on, if you watch Star Wars without the music on, what the fuck are you watching? Like, the music brings it all up, baby. And this movie is no different. The couple of recurring themes that take place for each of the individual characters, it kind of has a Good, the Bad, and the Ugly feel. Obviously, it's the same director. But I was kind of, while I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is like the Good, the Bad, and the Beautiful, where you have the good in Charles Bronson, Henry Fonda, who we'll get to in a minute, as the villain, Frank. You got Frank, harmonica, and then you have this beautiful woman who's, I'm sorry, I could look it up right now and say her name. In fact, I will. Claudia Cardinale. Duh. Pfft, everybody knows her name. Yeah, no, these three characters, we're going to wind up kind of following the three of them and really kind of getting this new thing, this Once Upon a Time in the West, that is this Good, the Bad, and the Beautiful thing. Jason Robards also kills it as his Eli Wallach impersonation. Basically, he's the kind of gross bandito guy who is a friend of harmonica's and is seemingly going to help him kind of through this journey. Where it took me kind of a while to even really tap into what story I was meant to follow. I have since gone back and like kind of watched the beginning again, and I was like, oh, duh, they set it up pretty well. I just, for whatever reason, I hadn't heard the characters' names yet, and so people's names and things weren't clicking for me when their faces hadn't shown up. Like when we're talking about Frank, I don't know who that is until Henry Fonda shows up and damn does he show up. That close-up, the close-ups in this movie, honestly, and I know it's a Sergio Leone thing. Quentin Tarantino, when he was starting out, would say, he probably still says this, but he would say, I want a Sergio Leone close-up right here, and it looks like this, where you're just like, this is how close we are. And he manages to tell quite a bit of this story through close-ups like that. This movie's 2.5 hours long, and I want to say 50% of it is where an entire face is taking up the majority of the frame. And then, of course, you have these gorgeous, sprawling wide shots that are also peppered in. And so the guy is on such another level. Watching this movie in particular, there were so many shots that I was like, this seems like a modern movie. It came out in 1968, right at the end of 1968. But there are shots in it that seem like, oh, this is Spielberg's new movie, or this is a new Christopher Nolan movie, or like the scope and the look and also like the style, like, and I mean like the cool ass style that this Sergio Leone cat had. He didn't even make that many movies. I think now I've seen 2 of them, and I have like 5 others that, oh no, that's a lie. I saw Once Upon a Time in America, which also you should watch. It's another long one. I don't know where it's streaming, but that's another beautiful one, and it's another Once Upon a Time. But yeah, the music, those wide shots. I mean, he shot this film in Monument Valley in Utah. I think The Searchers was filmed out there. But yeah, I mean, between these shots and this music, that alone is worth watching this movie. But then you get to Henry Fonda, who I know I was just freaking out about a second ago. But I didn't, we are rather removed from the career of Mr. Henry Fonda. To us, he's, if you know who he is, you're like, oh, the guy from Grapes of Wrath or Jane Fonda's dad. But this was a man who made a career out of being the good guy. And then, way late in his career, he was the villain in this movie. It's the only time he ever played the villain, and he knocks it out of the fucking park. I was trying to think of a person it would be like, and it would be like if Tom Hanks got cast as a ruthless, murderous, like just evil bastard, and how jarring that casting choice alone would be when you see him first arrive and you're like, what on earth is this going to be? And the way that they introduce him as a villain is so barbaric. And like, they don't show a lot. It's not like really violent to look at or anything, but I mean, he kills an entire family. Spoiler alert. But he is in all black the whole time, and then of course harmonica wears a lot of light colors. There's a very deliberate choice happening there. But yeah, I mean, the music, the shots, Henry Fonda as a bad guy, Charles Bronson being just a total badass. Yeah, there's really no reason not to watch this movie, and it's streaming right now. You can watch it very easily. It's very easy to watch. But yeah, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I just, I've been trying to make more of these as we watch our weekly picks here. I'm probably going to start posting like every day movies that we've watched already, once upon a time. So that if you wanted to just like kind of have a daily option of something to watch, it would be some of the stuff that we've already watched in this club. I might even throw in some like newer movies that are on Netflix and stuff, just to kind of be like, hey, you can watch this if you want. But yeah, I'm having fun watching these movies every week with you guys. I hope you are too. And if you have any suggestions for any directors or time period or country, or dare I say a specific movie that you want to watch in this club and want to have an opportunity to talk about with other people, shoot them my way. Send me a message. We'll make that happen. But yeah, go watch Once Upon a Time in the West if you've never seen it. If you haven't seen it in a long time, watch it again. It's a very rewarding experience. So yeah, love you guys. Hope you're enjoying your quarantine. Please keep continuing to stay safe and stay clean and all that wonderful stuff. But hope to see you again, and you probably will in about a week. So see ya.